Oh yeah, right. I've got several stories I want to tell about things that happened to me. Which these are real things that happened. The odd, the strange, the true. And when you've heard the stories that I'm going to tell you, you will be wondering, because I'll be wondering myself, thinking, is he telling the truth? Is he lying? Is it just a story? Well, no, it's not. All I can say is, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you for not taking the word as straight. So all I can say to you is, if anyone doubts anything I've got to say, or do you think I'm lying, I volunteer. If you want to turn up, I'll do an interview on a lie detector test in public, and you can ask me questions, because every single word that comes out of my mouth now is the truth. These are things that I actually experienced when I was between 5 and 9, knocking around Liverpool. And I think they're good stories, because anyway, this is the first hand storytelling, it straight from my eyes to my mouth to you, and every word that I'm about to say is the God honest truth. The first story I'm going to tell you is, well, I'll start at the beginning. This is the first encounter I ever had with anything unusual, anything that we could consider occult. Anyway, this is how it started. This is the first of about 6 or 7 stories that I consider just mind-blowing, because I've seen them with my own eyes. Like I say, I've seen them, I've experienced them. And the good stories, if you know Liverpool, you should get a lot out of this, because there might even be other people who've experienced similar things who's mentioned it to you. And anyway, here we go. Anyway, I'll give you a little bit about my background. Anyway, I'm called the site the Urchin, because my dad died of a brain tumour when he was 24. Then my mum was left with 4 kids at the same age as him at 24, with a dead husband who died of a brain tumour. And so she ended up on prescription drugs for a breakdown she had. And knock-on effect is, I was 5 or 6. My mother was in pieces, the family were in pieces, and I ended up knocking around like a street kid for a long time, for a number of years, around Liverpool as a basically orphaned and on the streets of Liverpool since the age of 5. I had to learn quick. I had to develop skills of survival that you'd have to imagine being a 5-year-old kid in a big city. There's all kinds of ruthless characters knocking around who God knows what. You gotta sharpen up. You gotta get pretty quick. You gotta use them eyes. You gotta see what's coming, what's going, what's so and so to you. You know when you're this type of kid around there, around that. If you don't get sharp, you're gonna be dead. If you sharpen up, you've got to get really quick. You've got to see everyone coming. You've got to see them before they go. But you know what they are. You know what they're up to. You know what everyone is, because you're an urchin. You've had to develop these skills of observation and everything. Anyway, there's the life, man. Anyway, I learned from an early age that there was places like, if you're having trouble with a gang from another bit of the area or the zone, so there's places they wouldn't go. They were too scared to go, and me being me, I quite enjoyed adventure. I quite enjoyed going in old buildings and bombed out buildings and shells. I was for that. I find it quite interesting. Anyway, went into this building, this old post office. It was in Park Place at the bottom, Park Road, Liverpool, heading into town, just before the Flatiron. There was an old post office there which had been closed down, and it was earmarked for demolition, so it had all corrugated sheeting around it. So anyway, I was knocking around, messing around there. I don't know, I was off school. It was daylight. I was knocking around there. I remember it was cold, because I remember the the flats in the pub on the other side, there was icicles dripping down, hanging down off the. I remember that, it was a really cold day. Anyway, messing around, I managed to find a little gap in the corrugated sheeting, which a 6-year-old cow was only small, a little kid. I managed to get through it. So it goes through it, and then there's the doors to the post office in front of me. But what it's open about this much, but I cared. Like I said, I was a little kid, I was small, and it wasn't even big for me, or even for my age, I was small. People used to comment the size of them. Even for my age, I was only a small person. So I goes in, and then I'm messing around with all it's fascinating in there. It's like a museum. There's a telegraph in the corner. That's how old the post office was. They still had a telegraph in there. I'm messing with that, like doing all the Morse code, just tapping on it. Then there was a safe there, messing with the safe, twisting the thing, and just messing around with all the old stuff that was disused and discarded in the post office. And it would be behind all this. There was a set of stairs going up to the next floor. In fact, it was about 3 or 4 floors high, this building. So I went up to the first floor and was messing around up there, and there was a little route up there, not again. Then I went up to the 3rd floor, and on the 3rd floor was quite interesting because there was looked like an old bathroom, and in the bathroom there was a sink. But the only thing keeping the sink up was the water pipes, the bolts, you know, the fixings that keep the sink up to the wall. They were off. They were playing out. The only thing keeping that sink up was the 2 water pipes going into the sink. And then I looked in the sink, and in the sink there's a little black and white kitten, little tiny black and white kitten, lovely little kitten. I was made up with it. I went, oh God. And then straight away, kitten, what's going to happen? He's going to just shoot. I went like that. I went, pick the kitten up. I can't pick the kitten. I can't explain this. There's a kitten in the sink. I can't pick it up. My hands are going. Looks like they're going through the kitten. I'm trying to pick the kitten up and I can't. I'm trying to pick it up. Can't stop there for head's wrecked. There's a kitten there, I can see it, and I can't touch it. I can't pick it up. I can't. My hands seem to be going right through it when I'm trying to touch it. Anyway, I can't pick the kitten. My head's wrecked. I can't explain why I can't pick this kitten up. So I come to the conclusion, it's cold outside. Like I said, there's icicles hanging off the roofs from over the road. So I come to the conclusion, oh, I've got frostbite. The reason I can't pick this kitten up is I've got frostbite and I've got no feelings in my hand because they've gone numb with frostbite. So I start blowing on my hands, warming them up and trying, still can't get it. Blew on my hands were warm, they weren't even cold. I can't pick the kitten up, so there's a big hole in the floor, about 4 or 5 foot over this way. So we decide I'll work on the sink, keep forwards, backwards until it snaps, and then I'll drag it over. I'll drop it down this hole, then it'll smash. Then I'll be able to go and rescue the kitten that I think's trapped somehow in some strange way, trapped in the sink. I know it's a strange story, but it's the truth. What else can you say? It's the truth. Sometimes it's bloody strange, and this is. So I'm working the sink off. I got it. It drops. Finally, it drops on the floor, and then I dragged it over. Gets to this hole, pushes it down the hole. The sink goes down. It's the floor below, smashing to smithereens, and I'm looking down the hole. And as I'm looking down the hole, I can see all the bits of whatever you call it, porcelain, whatever, off the sink, smashing, goes all over the place. And this kitten, little kitten, just walks away in the middle of it all like nothing has happened. So I'm looking at it like that, thinking, oh, I'll go down and get it because it's blown. So as I'm looking down with it like that, I hear this noise behind me, over this way. And just as I look around, I hear this old woman. There's an old woman there, standing with 2 kids next to her, right behind me. She went, "Get out of it!" like that, shouted at me. I turned around, like I said, looked at her, and these 2 kids, the kids are standing next to her. Now the kids didn't look normal. The kids had like, bits of the face was missing, bits of their arm was missing, bits of the they just looked like disfigured, like they'd been in a bomb blast. And then they moved towards me. And as they moved towards me, I shot. There was something odd about these people I didn't understand. I shot to the first 2 sets of steps. I think I took 1 step down and cleared the rest. I must have cleared 10, but that's a high for the 4 or 5 year old kid. That's a long way to go. But when the adrenaline goes, you cleared 1 set, cleared the other, and then I gets to the exit, the door. As I gets to the door, I looked around over my shoulder, and these people had come down directly into the exact same position on the floor I was on now, and was still there. As I turned round, the little girl shouted at me. She shouted, "Stop, wait." I don't know why I did, but I did, because I felt confident. I had 1 foot out the door, felt I can get away. I'll shoot if she goes to grab me. I'm shooting. I'm going to be gone. I was confident of where I felt I could get away, so I stood. And she comes up to me, and then all the disfigurement seemed to go. As she got closer to me, the disfigurement, the like injuries she and her brother had sustained had gone normal. She just had a normal face, and she came up to me like this. She came right up and she went, and I felt when she did it, felt like she looked right at me. She said, "You're good, really. We'll forgive you, but we've got some chores we want you to do for us, and then we'll let you off if you do these chores for us." What the chores consisted of, I used to have to go to the sweet shop and buy sweets and come back in this old post office and eat these sweets in the old post office. If you watch what you're taking, people, because these ghosts were getting me. These childhood ghosts were getting me to go and buy sweets out the sweet shop, come back to this haunted building that they were haunting, and eat them. And in some strange way, because I was eating them sweets in their presence, they were tapping into me physically and enjoying them sweets. Now this went on. I've got more stories to tell you, but this is just the first. This is the first contact I ever had with them. And it, like I said, it went on till I was about 9, 10. And I've got several stories to tell you about the things we used to get up to with these kids, and me knocking around these old buildings in Liverpool. But I can tell you there's some pretty fascinating and bloody scary ghosts knocking around these buildings that were there. A lot of them are knocked down now, but if you remember the buildings, I've got some first-hand eyewitness accounts of seeing things in these buildings. So come back and have a look at my other stories. But there's my first one. That's for the start. I should entertain you. Come and have a look. See you again.